When this guy paid at the shop, he just casually tapped his hand on the scanner. The cashier was shocked when the payment went through, totally caught off guard. What they didn't realize was the guy had a tiny RFID chip implanted in his hand. It works kind of like a credit card, but with more features. The chip gets inserted with a small injection and sits right under the skin. Then you can program it using your phone. After that, it's like having a secret power. You can unlock doors, make payments, even open your car.
All praise, glory, and honor is most certainly due to the Most High Elohim of the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I want to say peace to each and every one of you in the name of the Son, Yehoshua HaMashiach, who we know is Jesus the Christ. So it's a blessing each and every single time that I can come before you to bring a message contained in His Word, and never do I count it as a light thing to do so. In today's message, I want to deal with something that is pressing in regard to the Great Tribulation, something that everybody must know about if they are going to be alive at that time, and that is the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is referred to in the book of Revelation, which we'll read, and the mark of the beast is implemented by the Antichrist, and it is part of a beast system that in order to buy or sell, you must have this mark. So what I want to do is go over what the Bible says about the mark of the beast, what the consequence of taking the mark of the beast is, and what your response should be. So let's pick it up in the book of Revelation. We'll pick it up in Revelation, the 13th chapter. Revelation 13 and verse 11 says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose daily wound was healed." Okay, so what that's talking about is ultimately the reunification of the Roman Empire and what we call the man of sin, the son of perdition, generally the Antichrist, is coming out of Rome, out of the office of the papacy or the Pope. What does he do? Verse 13 says, "And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men." So he's going to have this power directly from Satan, just like the Egyptian magicians in the days of Moses and Aaron, they had power. He's going to have this power, again, from that wicked one. Verse 14, "And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live." So he's going to establish an image, and this image is not going to be like a regular idol. Verse 15, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed." Okay, so this idol, if you will, this image is going to come alive. In a similar vein, when you see in the Catholic religion, people making pilgrimages to idols that cry tears of oil, tears of blood, etc. This is in that similar vein, and again, this power is not from the Most High; it is coming from Satan, the ultimate deceiver, and through this so-called miracle, many are going to be deceived. And it says in verse 16, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." Now, what is this? You cannot say for sure, but is it just a mark like on Ash Wednesday, the tau cross in the forehead or in the right hand? Perhaps. Is it some RFID chip or some other form of e-tattoo, some other form of technology, biometrics? Perhaps. But one thing we do know is that if you don't have it, you cannot buy or sell. Okay? So you can't buy or sell save you have the mark. Okay? Then he goes on to say in verse 17, "And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, that him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603.6. 666, we understand and should understand that is referring to a title that is bestowed, that the Pope bestowed upon himself. The popes in general have called themselves Vicar of Christ, or Vicarious Filii, replacement for the Son of God. Blasphemy. Okay? You add those letters up, you find it adds up to 666. Okay, so now that is what's going to happen. So what now, if you don't take the mark, you will be beheaded. Okay, if you are in the area outside of the place of safety during great tribulation, so that you lose your life. He tells you, he that, you want to save this life, he's going to lose it. Who's willing to give up this life for my name's sake shall find it. Because what happens if you do take the mark? Let's go to Revelation 14. It says in verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So what is going to happen to you if you take the mark of the beast? If you take the mark of the beast, you are going to the lake of fire. You're going to hell. So you have two options. You can take the mark of the beast and save your life for a little while, or you cannot take the mark of the beast and be beheaded. But if you take the mark of the beast, you'll live a little while, and then you're going to eventually be cast into the lake of fire. Well, Mark, the 9th chapter, describes it as follows. In verse 43, he says, and if thy hand offend thee, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter into life maimed than having two hands to go into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched, where their worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched. There's no escaping this. You know there's no escaping this when you look at the beast and the false prophet who are the first to be cast into the lake of fire when the Lord returns. After the 1,000-year millennial reign of Christ, approximately after 1,000 years, what happens? Satan is cast into the lake of fire where the beast and the false prophet are. They have been burning there for 1,000 years. And this is a living death. And you can read in the book of Isaiah when the Lord establishes his kingdom here on this earth, that people will go up and to keep the feast, go up at the appointed times, and they'll see the beast and the false prophet there burning in the lake of fire. So that's your option. Or you can give your life up and you can eventually be resurrected. This is why it's an act of faith. And understand, brothers and sisters, I want to make this clear. And it never fails. When I deal with the topic of the rapture, no matter what you read in the Bible, people will still believe there's a rapture, even though the rapture is not in the Bible. There's no rapture from Great Tribulation that you can read anywhere in this Bible. Old Testament, New Testament, all 66 books, none of them talk about a rapture from Great Tribulation. It's not written at all. But if you tell people that, they have been so indoctrinated that they won't believe you. But I always say my only job is to tell you what's written, and you do with it what you will. So what should be your response to the mark of the beast? Again, the mark of the beast could be a literal, just a mark like just a mark like on the like Ash Wednesday, or it could be an RFID chip, it could be e-tattoo, it could be some form of technology like biometrics, whatever it is. When I say biometrics, just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, if you look at the system that is in India, they have put approximately 1 billion people on a biometric system where they scan your iris or your retina, and then they scan your hand, and all your information is in there. They have everybody like that. Technology is already, it is the new fetter, it is the new shackle. And in this technological dark age that we have basically encroached and we have come upon in this time, you're going to see it, I believe, implemented during the time of Great Tribulation. Truly. You're already starting to see it. Particularly if you look at China, for example, you see how technology is used. For example, I'll give you an example quickly. You jaywalk in China, they send you a ticket. Why? Because they don't have to be there to see you like a actual person. No, they surveil you, or you doing things that they don't necessarily government the powers that be don't necessarily agree with online. Hey, they have a social credit score. That's just an example. The reins will be tightened on mankind. Man has actually created, like always, man will create something that will cause his demise. AI, something that could cause the demise. Automation, something that will cause the demise. The internet, how it's being used in inappropriate ways, can cause the demise of mankind. So, what should be your response to if you find yourself in great tribulation and the choice is either to bow down and worship the image or to refuse and be beheaded? Well, the precedent has already been set, and we can look at the book that gives us so much insight into the time of great tribulation, and that is the book of the prophet Daniel. In the days of Daniel, King Nebuchadnezzar, this Babylonian king, after he was shown this dream, interpreted the dream. Uh, Daniel interpreted the dream to him, showed him what the dream was, and interpreted it. He built this image, and he required his subjects in his kingdom to bow down to it. Well, there were some Hebrews, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, which Daniel, they all knew each other. They were taken captives, particularly one likely of a royal lineage. You read that in Revelation. I'm sorry, in Daniel, the first chapter. So now they refused to worship. And so let's see what happened here. Um, and in looking at what they did, we see the response that we should have. God forbid if we find ourselves in that situation. But if you're looking for a rapture and there is no rapture, and you're confronted with being beheaded, I have a feeling your faith is going to crumble. It's going to be hard enough with with the knowledge that there is no rapture, let alone if you've been waiting on one. You'll be devastated. Your faith will crumble because it was founded on pudding. So now this is Daniel the third chapter in verse 8. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came there and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worship it, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. So now, what did they do? What was their response? Before the power on this earth amongst men. And it seems that death awaits them. But they understand what thus saith the Lord. Verse 17, if it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So they refused. And that should be, so the precedent has been set. You should refuse. You can't have any other gods, any other that you worship. That's That's the precedent, and we should look back and see. When you see the book of Daniel, it talks about how this man is going to wear out the saints. You can read the book of Revelation and how he talks about there'll be more martyred, and he's referring to those who are martyred during the time of great tribulation. So, brothers and sisters, it is time to do what? It's always time to serve the Most High. And it is always time to seek what thus saith the Lord, and to be girded in your faith, so that when the time comes, you can act as you should. It's one thing to think you're ready, as another entirely different thing to be ready. What did Peter say? Lord, I'm willing to go with you into prison, into the death. And Yahushua, Jesus, he responded, before the cock crow twice, thou shalt deny me thrice. And that's what happened. Brothers and sisters, there's really no time for games. It's all about understanding what thus saith the Lord, being obedient to the best of our ability, believe in the sacrifice that was made through his son, walk in newness of life until the end of your natural life or until he returns. And with that, brothers and sisters, it's always my prayer that you will edify.
You know